anyone trying to move on here. Already early in the game, they are thinking ahead. And we can see Sosnoka does have a couple of teams. There's about 3 teams staying over there. So they might actually be able to, get some early kills in as well. You can see active gaming also well spread out right there, being able to get a couple of kills from the UAE guys right over there. I think they were able to kill one guy from UAE King or something. And yeah, definitely looking good. Right at the center of the map, MGC is just sitting pretty, not much to contend with over there. Rozok is going to be having a couple of guys just rolling by right now as well. And man, I think we are going to be seeing some really tactical gameplay from these guys just by looking at how they've landed.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
definitely.
seem to have.
Sorry, please
Yeah,
come
I'm
on.
with you, man.
Go on.
I'm with you, man.
All right, all right. So yeah, just like you said, a lot of technical gameplay coming in from them. As you said, the guys from BC landing in their usual drop spots all the way right there around Georgia Pool. But we do know that one of the things that I do suspect I will see from them is them moving into that zone as it begins to progress. Um, so yeah, I'll be curious to see how they do play it as we keep going forward. But I mean, judging from these teams, are there any names that you've seen so far? Apart from the teams, just apart from the new names, like the players themselves, like players you recognize, because I know I've recognized like one or two.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a few guys right now, but I'm still trying to confirm they're the one because there are times when some of these
Yeah,
names are actually quite similar. But definitely, I would love to see new players in the scene. They might actually not be new players, but I would love to see these players in this scene right now, bringing in the fire, bringing in that heat, showing us that you don't know us, but now we are going to let you know us whether you like it or not. And yeah, definitely. I see an NF down there, and I do know I've seen some name like that in the past. And they used to bring in the youths.
yeah.
Definitely. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely is going to be fun. So just judging from the way this zone is shaping it out, of course we're going to get to understand the teams more as we go on throughout in Consi. For now, let's just get a feel of them. Different teams are just trying to pick their spots, trying to get to understand where they're going to land. I do recognize that name, Frags and Pikachu. These
Yeah.
are, well, if that's the Pikachu I know, then this is like a Nigerian team, very good team, by the way, very good player. So hopefully we'll be seeing some action coming down from them. But obviously they've chosen to land in this place, Rose Hulk right there. So yeah, the next zone is going to determine a lot of things. The teams have just sort of like spread out, pick their spots, looking for loot, and the next zone is where they begin to now hold their different positions, and we're going to see different teams pushing each other.
Yeah, if you happen to be a team on this map right now, how would you reach this zone? Because right now this zone could make an unmake, could go towards the island, could go towards Pochinki, could just decide to go all the way towards Yasnaya Poliana. But I think active gaming is taking a bit of a hit right there. It's going to be a difficult one for them. Losing a player that early in the game is not what you want at any point in time. But we do know they've been able to get up to this position. So definitely they are capable to handle themselves, even though they might be one player down. Yeah,
All
that's just
right.
beautiful right there.
All right, so the guys from UAS is just driving past there and, also losing a player. Drip goes down. It does look like there's been a couple of exchange of fire between the two teams, and the active gaming guys are pretty much spread out. It was actually the active gaming guys taking out one of the players
Ooh,
from
yeah,
UAS. They took out
beautiful.
Drip. Good game. So they're pretty much just exchanging at this particular moment. For UAS, Zali is seeming like one of those players who wants to make that push onto the guys. Is probably looking to get one or two knocks. It just looks like they're just about two players standing or staying in between those buildings. The guys from Active Gaming have made a spread across. And what do you think about that tactic sometimes, Viper? I see a lot of teams have been doing this regularly. They sort of like stay in a 2-2. Why do you think teams tend to do that? I see them do it a lot. Do it a lot. I mean, one could say, hey, spreading for loot, or but is there a more tactical reason why they do that aside from just going up about to get loot?
Yeah, so definitely back in my coaching days, I used to call it the body system.
Okay.
So you do want a system whereby you have someone to fall back to, someone to give you the cover fire, someone to rush in and get that revive on shoot in case you need it, someone to share bullets with, someone to share ammunitions and whatnot with at that point in time. So definitely at times it's always wise to have a wild card in which nobody knows where it's coming from and it just devastates on the other team. But most times in situations like this, especially in early matches, you do want to have someone that covers your back because if you get knocked early in the game and the other or the opposing team has the opportunity to finish, they are going to finish and it's going to be a loss to your team. So definitely the body system works a lot. And yeah, that's why you see most of these teams are actually taking it because they want to keep the numbers together. And at times you do know numbers is everything.
Yeah, definitely. But now that we're seeing that zone, having made that shift, we do see the guys from UA is just deciding to leave that position. Chaos is looking like they're in a really good spot. Farm is pretty much at that center. It's uncontested for now. There are a couple of builders around there, so we can see the guys from UA probably try to move to that position or just hold the Milta spot they have, take the risk too much. But we will be seeing the guys from BBC just making that rotation all the way into that zone. They might get some shots or fired from the guys from Active Gaming, but everyone's now trying to move towards that center. If I do feel like you asked me this question before. If you were a team, what would you do? I do feel like a couple of teams. What I'm seeing in the lobby right now is everybody's trying to go towards that center, and it's going to be a whole lot of wahala.
Yeah, lot of wahala right here. Motor will jam a lot of people. A lot of people will get hit along the way. Yeah, but looking at this, if I were to be a team right here, what I would have been thinking would be, yeah, a lot of these guys, because when they were landing, when you were jumping off a plane, you could have a rough idea of where most of these players are going to be landing. You could check where how the plane was losing people and whatnot. So definitely, I would have an idea that at this particular kind of zone, the western part is going to have a lot of influx. So if I am going to be making my way into this zone, I would be doing what BH Boyka and his team is doing right now, going up north or going towards northeastern part right there to make my way into the zone because it's going to be, a freer path to make my way into the zone. And I could work with a lot of hills around there to scout around and check the position of these teams so that my team can make an informed decision. But right now, you can see Active Gaming already taking yet another fight. These guys are looking to make a lot of kills today. All right, interesting.
Yeah, definitely. As different teams are beginning to feel themselves, we can also see the guys from Chaos just trying to pop out that K98. He actually did do some damage onto the team, and
Hmm.
it's all down. And it took him all the way down to pretty much 30% HP right there, almost getting the knock. We do know the team, or no, which we spoke about, the team who landed, at Rosehawk. With Pikachu also getting a couple of knocks themselves. I'm not sure if they've made that wide, but it does look like they're engaged in a fight themselves. So a lot of teams have gotten a position for themselves in this zone. We do see Turbo, not too far away from Rocco, but he's up against three guys, and his teammates are sort of behind. So if you just take a look at this fight right now, Viper, you see that they're about to sandwich this team coming from several different angles.
Ooh.
Unknown Pikachu coming from that side might be able to get a couple of knocks, and Frags is also popping up shots onto them. If they can get one or two knocks, they can full send onto the entire team, and you can see Zeno
Ooh.
actually does go down, and Viper, man, before it just goes down, it's
Nice.
just left to Rocco, and it's about to go down for Rocco. He's trying as much as possible to put up a fight, but it is definitely not enough. He did try to put up a fight, but that was a really, really smart rotation from this team.
So yeah, definitely, these teams still have a lot to learn, but that play coming in from Team IQ was just beautiful. It was really
Mm.
beautiful because they pinned them down with just one man in front, and then the remaining teammates went around, flanked all the way around, and got the shot in, pinning them right at the center of that fight, which is just amazing gameplay right there. This is what you see from an aspiring team right there, and it's beautiful. I would say it's definitely beautiful. But right as we are saying that, we can see the zone is shrinking a lot more, and a lot of these players are still coming into that really small zone right now. Some are still, chilling outside the zone. Still 14 teams alive, 52 players about to get into this tiny circle, and it is about to get real downtown right now, man.
It definitely it's about to
Ooh.
get down as we do see the different teams just popping out shots onto each other. The team IQ also look like a team that's getting a couple of up, but Active Gaming also have Ted Bundy who is down, and it does look like he's been taken out of the game. They do lose one player right there as Active Gaming, who has been in a couple of fights, do get into some trouble of their own while trying to get that rotation on. But just taking a look at it right now, we can see that zone has made that move, has made that shift. Several different teams are trying to get themselves into a good spot within that zone. It's been very interesting to see who sort of like gets gets into that final circle and seals this game off.
Yeah, definitely. Would love to see how that one works out. I am actually surprised at how BBC has been able to go all the way through that many teams and still make it all the way to the edge of Milta alive, which is interesting. They actually went all the way, got a building of their own, an empty building of their own, and now they are setting up with. Yeah, they didn't really take that much of a damage. But right on the western part of this zone, we can still see a stalemate going on between Chaos and Team 8 right there, just firing shots at each other from the distance. They've been able to do some damage. At times, long distance fight is not really about you know, getting the kills. You might not be able to get the kills, but one thing you can be sure of is that you are going to deplete your enemies' utilities. They will be low on meds, low on things that they could actually recuperate with. So definitely at times long distance fight is just a fight of psychologists, if you get what I'm saying. So definitely you can see Team 8 VA is already trying to get out of here because they are in anticipation of where the next zone is going to be, and they are making adequate preparations for that, which is something that you love to see as well. Keeping Magic on that edge, trying to catch anyone of Chaos that wants to pull a fast one on them, just catch them off guard right there. Ooh, it's got to be careful. Yet another team is coming into the play right now. Yeah, they gotta move fast. They gotta find a way to get out of here, or just stay in cover. Active Gaming does also have another team looking right at them. That's RDX, and it's a 3v3, I believe. I think Active Gaming lost one earlier on. And yeah, I would love to see the next zone around farm. Beautiful. So everyone that is currently in the southeastern part needs to make their way into that area. Oh man.
I've always said something about Inkosi zones. It does seem like it does punish you sometimes. Take you one direction and you feel like you're in that zone in the center, and then it says, "Hey, let's
Hmm.
go all the way to another spot." So it's shifting a lot of these teams who had made those rotations right there onto that sort of southeast region, and now they have to move again. Towards that region around farm. Luckily for some teams, they might have some buildings to work with, and some builders around farm are pretty much free. So it's all about who gets to those spots first. As you can see, a lot of those teams are doing those rotations. RDX trying to pop out shots onto the guys from Active Gaming as they do make those rotations. BBC also doing so yeah, it's been interesting to see how the next zone goes. This is where we begin to see teams just fight it out for who dominates in that center, who has that spot. So we still have about 14 teams, and just take a look at the zone. It is pretty much doing damage at this particular point in time. So yeah.
Ooh. Active Gaming currently taking a lot of hurt right now. Asgard is the only man left alive, but he has dealt a lot of damage with that DP28 just going onto these guys. But lucky enough for them, VA off in the distance, also taking a couple of shots towards this direction. That is the last man left up alive, and it does seem to want to do a lot more damage. One thing I'm actually seeing in this match is that these guys are not yet completely used to using utilities. They don't use nades as much as I would love them to be using it right now. But God has got to be careful right now. As you can see, Abok looking out that window, just as I said, he has the nades out. I think this might be it for God. If that connects, it might cook it a little bit better, longer. Oh, God is in trouble, man. But he's got smokes right there to actually give him some sort of cover right now. Let's see how long that is going to be lasting. I do, BBC right now, they're just sitting pretty behind hard cover, and oh, God is a smart one.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Active gaming guys losing a couple of players right there. The nade almost taking out guard. Just like you said, a lot more nades need to be used, But I do feel like the teams are going to learn a lot more as they
to
do begin to progress. As you can see, the guys from Active Gaming have now been taken out of the game by the guys from BBC. And BBC did lose one player in that particular fight, and the third party coming in from a couple of teams right there with that
yeah.
finish onto that player, but they were able to get the rest on. So we're down to now 13 teams, and I'm curious to see how they round up this one. But I felt like there was a bit of chaos in this game. When it comes, teams understanding how they rotate, how they push and all that stuff. But as we do begin to progress over the season, I do feel like different teams will now begin to understand their drop spots, and they will begin to put a balance towards the lobby.
Yeah, definitely. One team right now that I got my eyes on right now is Team IQ. I am looking to see how they are going to end up in this game. But probably I'm going to even see favoring them to get this winner chicken dinner. But you can see they are not too far off from the zone. But check it out, VEA is well spread out inside the current zone right now, controlling a lot of real estate right there. And boy, oh boy, see what we have here. Team IQ is going to have a tough time making their way into that zone because they are pretty much sandwiched between three teams, as you can see, are not trying to make his way up there, and he has been spotted already. He's got to be careful on that one as well. Another push coming in onto
Ooh.
BC. Oof. BC's got just Wi-Fi left as the rest of his team are currently bleeding out. Octane and King bleeding out. Octane is meant to signify a very fast character. Very fast character
Ooh.
from Apex Legend.
Now this team boss is one of those teams that I talked about, who has a lot of those old players, Dola. For a lot of people who don't know Dola from back in the days, he used to be in Wild Breed, used to be one of the really strong and interesting players. So
Wait,
definitely
this is
this
Dollar Dollar.
this is Dola. Yes, that is the
Interesting.
Dola. Yes, that is Dollar Dollar. I'm sure a lot of people who are fans, they do remember him. And Dollar coming in right now. If any team's going to be wiping out Team IQ, is definitely a team from Dollar, with his IGL and great fragging abilities. So really lovely one, as we do see them coming in with 4 kills so far. They're one of those teams that I'm rooting to go on and do well in this particular lobby. We do see the guys from IQ also still holding their own right there in that zone. BBC is one of those teams that I was rooting for, but it got taken out by the guys from Boss. So yeah, we're down to 12 teams, and it's beginning to take its shape. We're now seeing the guys from Chaos as well. Just looking at the guys from RPT, Rage, and Zinc just together. There, one nade could change this out, and this is what you said. Not using those nades is something that I'm seeing the teams in this lobbies are not doing a lot, and I'm just wondering, maybe it's just the fact that they don't have those utilities or what. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see how it progresses.
Well, once you get a lot more comfortable with the game, the more you play the game, the more you are comfortable with your team, the more you are able to actually sort out these situations and use those utilities to your advantage. Because I was watching the Nordwin the Umzamsi League recently, and if you see the way these teams are actually dropping it. They know where you are based on their team information, and then they just drop the need right on you, right on your spot. You see one need for three, one for two, and it's Africa just has that meta for need. I must say. So definitely, these guys, I believe, along the way, they are going to be moving forward and getting to use their needs more appropriately. Down to 8 team right now, still 26 alive. You can see who got VEA still well spread out. They got one man in the zone as BBC might be looking to crash in towards this position as well. Boss taking a lot of damage off in the distance as Badman goes down and it's going to be finished as well. UES off in the distance. That's going to be underrated. Esports also trying to take some shots in, being able to take down some more of the bosses guys right there. Dollar still up alive in the distance, and 24 players still trotting around this Erangel map. Most of them already down in the grass trying to see if they could spot a pixel just out of just out of the normal place. It could be just get that shot in, get the knocks, create a box, some green spikes right now. But right there, still shots are coming. US, tactically making their push in slowly but surely into this zone. And Oh, Dollar's got to be careful on that one, trying to risk it in, but unfortunately, Zaylee's got eyes on him, and he says, "Not on my watch, man. I got you right where I want you right there." Team IQ still holding strong with a full squad, bro.
Whew. Man, the guys from Team IQ, like you said, are still holding on strong. I did think for a second that Dollar was actually taken out of the game, and I'm not highlighting him because he's one of those players I do believe has the abilities to just run riot in this game. He's one of those players is really strong when it comes to tactical abilities. But just taking a look at it right now, we're down to 7 teams, and the guys from UAS, I must say, have been really resilient. They're still in this game after Alton taking out a couple of times. They're still popping off shots onto the guys from Team IQ. Revenge is really holding his own, but he does have to be careful. You can't see the guys from Team 19 just not too far away from him. They could play spoiler and third party onto him, blow up his buggy, and take him out of the game.
Yeah, you do know what is I find interesting in here is that we have about 2 or 3 teams right now that still have their full squad up. MGC look to be in a very MW, that's the No Way Out squad. They look to be in a very, very nice spot right there as they have like the height advantage onto the guys from BBC. They could just keep hammering the shots down onto their position, just keep throwing those 5.56 down towards their directions and keep them as be as the zone is going to be pushing in as Team IQ just keeps taking shots after shots after shots. A lot of teams out here with at least 8 kills, but Team IQ does seem to want to make that push. They are going in for the push. Golden drops one. Ooh, that is amazing work coming from Magic, but unfortunately, cover fire coming in from the Team IQ guys took him out. We are down to 5 teams right now. No way out. Still pinning him down. BBC telling them there is no way out of that position you got right there. And boy, oh boy, Togo, it's gotta be careful on that one. You're out in the open. Who unknown is taking it to lead this from that one. That is gonna be one man down right there for Team IQ. They've returned the favor onto No Way Out right now. And man, it is hectic. 4 teams up alive, 10 players in this lobby. We got these teams just, you see. BBC, wow, these guys are still alive. Interesting.
Yeah, it's been a really crazy one. Team NW does look like a team that just lit up towards, I mean, No Way Out. Looks like a team that just lit up towards that end, farming a couple of kills
Mm-hmm.
right there. They've gotten themselves 10 kills so far in this particular lobby. So, checking it or not, that is a whole lot of points. That's 10 points. Chaos is still in the game. We still got the guys from Team 6, BBC, still holding it there, Havoc doing God's work right there, living up to his name, but he does get taken down as well. I do think one player from Team IQ is still in the game, so that's definitely good placement points for his team. So these teams are really doing well. They're finding ways to still succeed. Okay. The guy from Team IQ does look like he's been taken. I do believe he went out in 5th place. But these guys are still finding ways to still succeed. Zali is the last for his team. We've gotten a couple of kills. So yeah, definitely making it all the way up to top 4 that does give them a strong chance. But are we going to see an Umzansi kind of play where we do see one of those players coming in with the clutch, or are we going to see the team from No Way Out just finally with the 4-man team or 3-man team just clear out the rest of the guys?
Ooh, No Way Out is getting a little bit ballsy right now. Chaos is still off on the distance, might be able to get some shots into his position. Zaini at the back. Told you Zaini was going to come in. Zaini came in, was able to down one of them, but unfortunately for Zaini, he's out of this one right now. Still 3 teams left up alive right now. We got No Way Out looking towards the guys from BBC as Clown is just in the distance, chilling up, waiting for them to fight each other out. Probably trying to clutch, that second place, or if possible, just pull a third party and clutch that winner chicken dinner right now. So it's gonna leave No Way Out and BBC right there to fight it out. I'm actually surprised at the fact that BBC has been able to actually live this long. They've been able to survive this long using their smokes, using the vehicles as proper cover right there. And No Way Out definitely is trying to tell them, you guys got No Way Out. We are gonna pin you down. But Plan's gotta be careful not to make any single sound right now because any sound is making. Ooh, check it out, MGC Sports device as it goes out in the open. That's kids right there to the guys from No Way Out, and they want to make a push onto BBC. It's going to be one. Told you, this chaos is in second place right now. Let's see if he'll be able to clutch this one because they have no idea where he is. check it out. Tempest is going to be moving on in this direction. He's going to be careful. He's making a lot of noise right now. He spots Tempest off in the distance. Take it slowly. Takes one down. It's going to be a 1v2 right now. It's going
Oh,
to move. He's got it in hand. Chapo goes around the corner, and that is going to be it. No way out. Watching the victory on that one with a
yeah.
total of Chapo, bro. 11 kills.
Whoa. Whoa. Chapo coming in right there with 11 kills for his team. The guys from No Way Out definitely telling the last player, Clown from Chaos, that he had no way out. See what I did there? See what I did there? Uh, the guys from Chaos coming in with second place with 1 kill, BBC as well. So I do feel like it was a really balanced lobby. There was a lot of, fights left, right, center. And, yeah, going into the second game, I do believe a lot of teams would, have felt each other now. They'll be coming in back with a lot more fight. But guys who were in that top three definitely will have, some compensation, getting a lot of points right there. So, yeah, great job from everyone.
So, what do you feel about this game today? Did the Nigerians did a good job today or not? You're
Definitely,
looking
we're still
left and
in.
right.
Yeah, well, we're still in week one. A lot of these teams are trying to, get a feel for what the other team's strategy are. And as we move on towards the next following week, we are definitely going to see a more active game right there, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, so but as of today, I do like the way the No Way Out guys actually came in with their gameplay. They kept it really slow. In fact, up till the final moment, we didn't really notice them that much. Along the line, I did notice they had about 8 kills moving in. And Chapo, man, coming in with that 11 kill bomb right there with the winner chicken dinner. That is just amazing gameplay for this level of game. It's just beautiful, I must say. They had the perfect positioning. This is what Actfire actually advised that in the beginning of the match. Try and get your positioning right. They did that perfectly in the final game, and it worked out for them. But when they were just farming the kills, and then, yeah, it works. It works like a champ.
What about you, Tony? What did you feel about the teams today? Did anybody stand out? How do you feel they will do in the second game?
I feel like there's a lot more firepower than I even initially anticipated, because there were a lot of teams that I didn't even know had rebranded, such as the team, from Boss. Boss Mob is one of those teams that definitely is doing well. But just taking a look at that leaderboard, we can see the guys from No Way Out. Obviously, they're not one of the teams that I was looking into, but they've shown that they can fight and as well get themselves the winner chicken dinner. So yes, they do stand out as one of those teams. The team BBC also getting themselves a couple of kills right there, and sitting in the third place with, getting themselves 16 points. IB7 as well, underrated esports, one of those teams too, who also got a couple of kills. So yeah, the lobby, I mean, the kills did come from that I was really expecting, such as active gaming, such as beep, such as bro code. But at the end of the day, it's really did pan out to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, because the first game we saw that camouflage and kind of going slow wins, but for the second half, will it win? I don't know because it's really faster than the other maps. So, what do you feel about the each team's strategies? Do they have to change it or do they have to adapt it? What do you feel about that?
Um,
Maybe.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I feel looking at the way some of these teams have played today, No Way Out, the team that went all the way around, flanked their way around their enemies, it was just perfect if they could just bring in that sort of fire, bring in that sort of quick thinking, bringing that sort of, ability to take the fight and clear out just in the nick of time. I believe they don't need to take out too much, just a little bit of touching here and there, and they would be fine in sound as well, definitely.
Yeah. What are the moments that you really liked in this game today? Is there something that like one action that you really liked here today or something like that?
Yeah,
Carlos,
Winnie,
sorry. Okay,
you
okay.
want
You
to take
said
that one?
yeah, definitely I can take it. Teams that I did enjoy seeing today. Um, so definitely one of the teams that it's not one of the things that really did catch attention, but it was Boss. We did see them, although they struggled at towards that end, but we did see them take out one of the, you know, should I say, heavy hitters in the lobby, which is the guys from Brocode. And Brocode is one of those teams who, they do know how to rotate very well. They do know how to get themselves, good points. They play really smart. Some of those plays that we saw from Team Unique, early on is, the kind of plays that we've come to expect from Brocode. So for Boss to, just quickly take them out, definitely does show like, their fire prowess. And obviously no way out, just lighting up in that final circle, farming a whole lot of kills. Chapo getting himself 11 kills is definitely something that I did not expect to see. But they lit up at the right moment. So yeah, I'm hoping that continues in Sandhawk, and it's an interesting game as we do progress in the last two maps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they came ready. They came ready. And I hope you at home you're ready for the second game. But first we are going to go on a little break because we need to breathe a little, eh? So we'll go on a little break and then we'll go for game two. So see you in a few minutes. And we are back. We are back for the second part of the Inkosi Super Cup today. So, Tony, how do you feel about this game? Like, what do you think will happen today? Will the first team that won first on the first game will be first also on the second game? Will they change it up? Will the last team go up the board today? I don't know. How do you feel, Tony?
I think there's a lot we can't really tell for now because we're still getting used to the teams and weighing their strengths when it comes to this particular lobby. But I would say several teams have shown that they can fight. Like No Way Out, right there, getting 15 kills. Definitely, it's no fluke. IB7 as well, who didn't place as high, but they got themselves 10 kills. Definitely, we're going to be seeing a lot from them coming into the second game. But there are also a couple of teams that we do know, such as Boss, such as Active Gaming, such as Bro Code, who didn't do as well in this first game, but might come in and show more fight and more zeal in the next game. So it'll be interesting to see, who if there's going to be a total switch when it comes to the people who gather points in the second game, or if it's teams like No Way Out are still going to retain their point.
What about you, Viper? What do you feel? What do you
Ah, well,
think?
one thing I've learned from my years in casting and watching games is that it's really difficult to predict some of these things, especially when there is a change in dynamics, when the map is going to change, when the game pace is going to change, and the mentality of most of these guys playing after the first game is going to change as well. A lot of them are going to sit back and go back to that drawing table right there to say, okay, this is what we did wrong, this is what we did wrong, and we are going to counter that. So definitely we might be seeing a lot of these guys that died early, that died in last place, coming back in hot, bringing it really quickly in town. So it's a really tough one to predict, but I would like to make a point of mention that I will be keeping my eyes on the guys from IB7 as they did not finish really, they did not place really high, in the top positions right there, but they had a lot of kills and still ended up with the same point to be in third place right on that standings right. So definitely I've got my eyes on IB7. I would love to see what they are going to be bringing into this sound of map right now.
Okay, cool. So how do we say gate? It's lit in Nigeria. How do we say that? Like, Tony, how do we say it's lit?
Ask my friend. Ask my friend. Ask my
Ogbono
friend.
Viper,
feli feli.
how do we say? How do we say? How do you say?
Ogbono feli feli.
What? Can you say that again?
Ogbono feli feli.
Ogbonna Belly Belly in Inkosi Super Cup today. We are
Yeah.
going to the second game soon. So, I want to say, like, I thought you earlier. How do you say? I feel you too. So, how do we say? I feel you. I wanna send some words of encouragement to the team. So, teach me some words in your lingo. Fire, teach me
Yeah,
something.
I gbadun you.
What?
I mean, there are different ways to say it. There's so many different languages, but we could use pidgin, and I could say, well, I mean,
I
if I
dey feel
translate, I
you.
feel you. I dey feel you. Yeah, I dey feel you.
I dey
Just say it
feel
simply.
you.
I dey
I
feel
dey
you.
feel
Yeah,
you. So
yeah,
all the
yeah.
teams, I dey feel you. So
You could say
I
I
want
dey feel una.
I
I
dey
dey
feel
feel
una,
una.
una,
Uh-huh,
una.
uh-huh.
What does it mean? What does it mean,
I dey
una?
feel una. Like I feel all
like
of you,
the
like all the
you
teams,
exactly.
all the
Oh, okay.
teams.
So I dey feel una, una.
Yes, exactly.
I
You
try
can
to
even put
learn.
well at the back. I dey feel una well.
I
Well,
feel
okay.
una way.
Well, yeah. Wait, let's not rush it. Let's not rush it. You can just go for at the
No,
feel. At the feel now.
I will learn. I will learn little by little. The weeks we have 8 weeks, so I will learn little by little. Like by
Yeah.
the final week, I will be like a Nigeria girl. I will go to Nigeria, then I will
Let's
learn.
go.
I will come and visit you. So we are going now for the second game. I leave it to you, Viper and Tony.
Yeah, definitely. Compared to the flight zone we had in Erangel, this is a little bit up north right there. But definitely, this is South. The map is not that big, so you could still be able to get on into your preferred drop spot right now. I would love to see how these guys are going to be spreading out, as a lot of these teams do like to go towards Mongnai right now. I do see a lot of activity going up on towards Mongnai. I want to see the heavy hitters that are going to be going towards Paradise Resort as well as boot camp. We do know in Sanhok, when you see teams heading towards those two particular spots, they are usually the guys that love to take it hot and bring in the fire, definitely. So, love to see which teams are going to be going there. As Paradise Resort actually does look empty right now. NF in that region just scanning around the place. Oh, underrated esports sitting pretty over in that's boot camp with no competition around them. Down south, you can see Sami is going to be host to RPT and Team IQ, as well as UAE Madara and his team is also going towards Camp Charlie. Okay, this zone, Tony, is a crazy one because it's basically almost like a zone two.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like a zone two, just like you said. But what makes this zone really tricky is a lot of times when I see zones like this, it's always moving towards that region around Hating, right? So that definitely means that a
Yeah.
lot of these teams have to. If my prediction is right, a lot of these teams are going to try to find a way to rotate all the way to that other side. And Chaos looks like a team that can really gatekeep a lot of those teams trying to come all the way from boot camp,
Hmm.
regions into that zone. But we might be seeing some fight coming in from VEA right now and Team 13, as they've gotten themselves a couple of weapons. Hentia right there, just sitting with that QBZ, might be able to pop some shots onto Insane. I'm not sure Insane has noticed Hentia's position, but if Hentia did hold a protector, maybe a nade or something, might be able to pop out onto Insane. Or if Insane has noticed, then we'll be really careful and watch out how. But just take a look at these two guys. You got Magic, we got Blazy, who can decide to just push onto Aspect right there, who's sitting in the building all alone without support from his team. And his team's pretty much held in a really tough position because there's also Gibbles who can come in and change that game if they do decide to move in. But you can see Aspect just switching position now, just retreating, getting back towards a safer region where his team can now begin to provide him that support.
Insane has got to be careful. Oh, EOU, eyes on you. I see. They've actually, oh, unfortunately, they had Gibbles had eyes on them right there, being able to flank Law
Always
right
eyes on
there
you.
and take. He just took him down right there. Magic has got to be careful. The rest of eyes on you to his left right now. He is completely unaware of that. Situational awareness is to get better right there. He might have been able to spot them off on the distance and take a couple of shots down in at them. But right now, it does not seem like we have one team that close to each other. We can see some shots ringing out towards the guys from Boss right there from the distance, from the BC guys as well. Um, Man, this is some level of early fight going on right now. I didn't expect to see this much early fight. I was expecting to see a lot of these teams just, minding their own business off in the distance and, trying to get. Wait a minute. Check out Team RPT. They have one man all the way over to the left side of Camp Alpha. That's the western side of Camp Alpha, and the remaining are in Nakan. I reckon he's disconnected or something, though. Because I don't
Definitely,
think that would be a
maybe.
tactic.
Yeah, definitely, maybe. But I'm looking to see a lot coming on, definitely from this guy's boss. I'm really, really I really feel every time I see Dollar coming back is one of those guys. Now the reason why I'm mentioning Dollar is because this used to be one of those players. I mean, he's not Nigerian, but he's one of those players within the Nigerian scene who did have a lot of. I mean, at some point in time, he was the best within the West African gaming scene, and he does have that firepower. So I'm really excited to see him back into the scene, putting in that work, putting in that fight. He used to be part of a wild breed team that later on became, citizens. Citizens, we've seen them in, the Umzansi over the past couple of seasons. So yeah, this is a really great player. But just taking a look at this team, they've gotten themselves one kill. They're pretty much just holding it right now down around Paradise. They've also got to make their way all into that zone. It's a really tough one. I did see one of the guys from Active Gaming. I do think his vehicle got blown up. You don't want to be driving around Sandhawk. Viper. Is that a wise decision? They were driving in
So
Sandhawk.
in as much as it's definitely not a given to drive in some of there are certain situations whereby you do want to have a vehicle nearby, even in sandbox, so that you could make some really quick decisive play, but you don't want to be in a position whereby you have the vehicle and you're driving on around like a lunatic, if you understand what I'm saying. But there are cases in which the vehicles could actually come in handy, but I would not recommend it right now. Eyes on you. Well, you can see they are getting it left, right, and center. As aspect goes down yet again, I believe that need from Wi-Fi connecting it right there. I believe they used one of the Wi-Fi technology right there to pinpoint its location and get that need in right on point. But we do love to see it. As you can see, active gaming almost at the center of this map, recuperating right there as Madara finds guy from Team IQ. Okay, UAE and Team IQ are currently going at each other's neck, I must say. Interesting. IQ is in a bit of trouble right there as one man is going to be going down. Not looking too good for Team IQ at the moment as they are down to 3 players and they are getting hammered on real quick. Pikachu still on full health. Can see King already looking for that flank angle. What a spread coming in from UAE right there. Could be amazing as well as disastrous for their team, because if a third team comes into third party right now, it could be really dangerous. I think Pikachu wants to power through right now. Let's see what he's going to be doing right there. As Frags is going to be support right behind him. Because Madara just looking towards that position, trying to sniff him out. I'm pretty sure his position right here is just to gather information. He's probably not even going to, shoot or something. He's just looking. Yo, Ace, there's someone down, something, and is, that communication, that team synergy has to be on point for them to try to pull off something like this, I must say. Because even if Team IQ tries to pull out of this one, every single angle is covered by UAE.
Really, really, really tough one for them. Trying to get out of that spot. And I do know that that team, UAE, is a team that doesn't joke. They do have the firepower. They'll be looking to get themselves a whole lot more points than they did in that first game, especially when it comes to kills, because they didn't do as well in that first game. So definitely, I'll be curious to see how they do seal that one out. But it's not a really good position coming down for the team IQ right here. They are usually the ones, trying as much as possible to outflank their team, get themselves in a good spot. But being down this hill is not a really good look for them, as the guys from UAE are giving them a taste of their own medicine of some sorts. But knowing that kind of play, I do see Frags on the ball. Is trying to just retreat back, trying to get into a position where they can get out of that one and maybe just rotate away. Would they have enough time to do that? I'm not really sure, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. In as much as UAE does seem to be covering plenty of the angles right now, I do see a couple of loopholes that if Frags and his teammates can actually look quite well, they would be able to explore those loopholes right now. Boyka is going to go around, spot BBC off on distance, go prone, but that steady spray take him down immediately. But he's got to be getting to cover as the rest of BBC are going to be actively hunting him right now. I don't see any much of support for him right there, but he might be able to do this as Togo goes down yet. Oh, to King, that's another man going down to IQ, and they Pikachu bringing in the shots right there, being able to, say, not today, man. I'm going to get my teammates back on, as he was able to knock one of the enemy team as well. Knocks going flying over in every direction right now. Revives also the order of the day, as these guys are going to keep the fighting on. Zeno gets spotted by Moses, is going to be finished off in the distance. Unfortunately, could not get to, get that revive just in time. One thing I've noticed in Sound is if you shoot from one position, the best bet you've got is smoke up and find a way to get out of that position really quickly, because your position is made like this. The enemy is actively trying to flank you, because 2 seconds, 3 seconds after, man, you're going to get knocked. So you cannot stay in one position for too long. You see that you are really aggressing. Oh, ooh, interesting. Pikachu. I'm being himself wide world. That is two man down. That's a 1v2. He's got one man left up alive trying to push up his position. He is going to 1v4 in full squad. Madara is going to be coming in zigzag. He wants this kill. He wants to take him down. Goes for the finish real quick. Madara coming out of the arrow. Goes for the drop
Oh,
shot
he
for the
almost
factory.
did it.
Wait, what just
Wait,
happened?
what?
Both team died.
Both teams died. My goodness. The play zone, he reduced his health so much that the play zone
Play
immediately took
zone.
him out. My goodness. My
That was a
goodness.
beautiful
What
play from
a
Pikachu, I must
what
say.
what a fight. What a fight. What a fight. So at the end of the day, you could say that Pikachu really did take him out of the game. There was total annihilation on both parties, mutual assured destruction from both sides. But now we're turning our sights
Man,
onto the guys from BH as they do take out the guys BBC from this game. They've gotten themselves about 2 kills. We're down to 12 teams, and definitely what you do hope to see right here. We do see the guys from RDX as well getting themselves into a fight right there with the guys from Boss, and it's a really tough one as I do believe they're trying to make their way onto that zone. But take a look at the position where Boss is right now. They've got God on side towards their west, and they on the east they've got the guys from RDX. So they're pretty much a sandwich. They're driving vehicles trying to cross that bridge, but definitely fire may just come out from the guys from God, but they have managed to evade it and move into these buildings right here. So definitely GG's to them and kudos to them on making those quick rotations into that zone. They've lost one player, but they've still got 3 guys up. So definitely they've still got a lot to give in this game.
yeah, definitely a lot they have to give right now. But sitting pretty unbothered, looking from the top of the map right there, just looking at every angle, saying, "Yo, we are going to be waiting for you guys to come in." It's chaos, just they've got a well parallelogram set up on top of that hill right beside to the eastern part of Camp Alpha. I'm probably going to find a name for that hilltop very soon. But you can see them just sitting over there, looking towards every single position right now. The next zone shift is going to determine a lot of what is going to be going on in this map, as No Way Out currently is taking damage in from the guys right there from the distance. MGC trying to maybe push their way in. That's going to be UES, I believe, underrated esports, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
underrated
think on the
esports.
underrated esports, they are looking to actually make their push. Chapel with the nade trying to confirm real quick. They've been able to get their revival. I really love the fact that this team they spread out quite well, but they don't hesitate to actually get that revive in when it is needed. You see them, they are not too far from each other, but they are covering the angles that actually matter right now. But they might be in a bit of in a bit of pinch right now, as there is yet another solo player right behind them, just waiting to see if any one of them is going to try to deep right from this position. If he tries to make a deep, it could be really dangerous for them. So
Yeah,
they've got two players. You got something?
yeah. Just like you said, Dylan can make that move for his team, but he's got to be careful because I'm looking at those guys up the mountain, RDX, right? If Mortal
Mm-hmm.
is taking a look at Dylan, he can definitely play spoiler for him, and I do think that Dylan has definitely spotted him. That's why he's making that move to switch that position right there, and that's going to affect the way they play because you can see the guys from nowhere out holding different positions of those buildings. They're not all staying in one spot. They're in a good position in that zone. Definitely the next zone is going to change things out. But man, my goodness, we're down to 12 teams. And heading into the next zone, you can see the teams have already anticipated that region is where the zone is going to move towards. And yes, it is still being a tricky zone because it's still being in no particular spot. It's still, although it's cut off boot camp, but it's still between Camp Alpha and Ruins. So we could see a final zone go all the way to Ruins. We could see a final zone just stick around those regions, in between Camp Alpha. You never really know, but we do have the guys on active gaming still sitting down within that zone. They can rotate within those shorelines towards a more central position if they have to. But a lot of teams now need to make their way in, and I do feel like we're going to see a lot of fights coming in as they do try to make those rotations.
Yes, definitely. BHD in a tough spot right now. You can see dead center caught out in the water with two teams overlooking their position. And you see Hydra out there trying to work his magic with that K98 in hand. Oh, Boyka is out of this one. Man, it's a really tough spot for BH right there. You can see active gaming and underrated esports are about to actually go at it as well off from the distance. And chaos. I told you chaos position was actually very, very nice though.
Yeah, definitely a good position for Chaos as they can now begin to gatekeep the guys from God. They can also pop up shots onto the guys from Boss, who and Boss also finding themselves in another tough position because Boss is just in between the guys from No Way Out as well as the guys from Chaos. And you can see one of the players also getting taken down. So they're definitely down to just two players, down to one now, actually. And it's a really, really tough time for them. I do hope they're able to get a couple of those rares because I want to see them go up on this particular leaderboard. But you do see the guys from Active Gaming sitting quite comfortably in those buildings right there. I'm not sure the guys from UAS have spotted them or know about their presence, but definitely we could see some fights coming in between these two as they do decide to rotate. But I really do pity for any team that decides to move in between these teams, trying to rotate into the zone. They could get punished by either one of them because I feel like that's definitely what's going to happen here. Other teams will be innocently just strolling by, like, yeah, let's go, let's get to the zone, and just let's rotate along those shores, and then boom, they just get seven different guns pointed at them.
Yeah, definitely. Chaos still dealing a lot of chaos up north right there, just waiting for those teams that they are trying to make their rotations deeper into the zone. A lot of these teams are getting armored on left, right, center. You can see chaos with that high point, spotting the man downhill right there. It's going to fire, unleash terror right onto them right now. This is a classic tactic from the 1980s, whereby you keep guns on hilltops and you have like a deep valley in between. You have someone, you just make an ambush right at the center, right? Anyone coming through takes them down. Chaos just sitting pretty on that position and they'll be using that to their advantage. You see, getting yet another kill. VEA is in a really tough spot. I don't see a way out for them in this one, to be honest. Yeah. I think one of their players has been able to go all the way around to make his way into the zone. Would love to see how that one turns out in a bit. And yeah, it's looking all shades of pretty. Chaos is going to be retreating a little bit, trying to make their way and hold that zone. And the zone just
Ooh,
popped
see that
all the
zone.
way. What the? Oh
See
my!
that
What the
zone.
flip?
See that zone. See that zone. Now, I do like what I've been seeing in the second game. A lot of teams are not afraid to fight. They're going all out for it. You can see Jinx just getting that knock right there as he's trying to make his way into the zone. But it's a really tough one for the guys from RDS. As they're trying to make it, it does look like the guys from No Way Out are just gatekeeping them. And these guys do know how to fight. They're the guys to beat in this particular game, coming in with 15 kills. They want to gatekeep a lot of teams, and you can see they're already doing that right there. But the guys from RDX are trying as much as possible to put on the fight. They've gotten about 2 knocks to themselves so far, and if they can get another knock onto Neptune, this definitely just turns
Neptune,
things.
Neptune,
But Neptune can
Neptune.
get himself a knock. But whoa,
What
whoa,
the? What just happened right
whoa!
now, bro?
I'm not even sure what exactly happened, but I do think it was a third party. I do have a feeling that that came from
Yeah,
a third
definitely.
party, and they got taken out
Dollar.
by Dola. We've spoken about Dola so far in this particular game, but he has done the work, getting his team a whole couple of kills right there, as you can see right there on the kill feed. Dola coming in and getting that wipe onto the guys from No Way Out, sending them home, doing the work, definitely living up to his name and the
Ooh,
hype right
ooh,
here.
ooh,
But
ooh,
he's got a really tough one as he's moving directly onto the position where the guys from RDX is, and Mortal sends him back home, sends him packing, and now turns his sight onto that zone, trying to make it in as well. We do see the guys from Active Gaming already sitting down in a comfortable spot within that zone, with the guys from UAS trying to make it in as well. A fight may ensue between these two guys, but man, it's crazy stuff. As all these teams are trying to rotate into the zone, it'll be crazy if we still have about 5 teams left at the end of the day by the time they all make it in.
yeah. I think right now Chaos still has potential to get some more kills if you just look downhill towards RGX trying to make their way into the zone. I also made it a point that to say I felt Dola could have pull in a bit of trigger discipline in there as to not take those last couple of shots he took before he ran out in the open. He might have been able to sneak in behind those guys to actually make his way into the zone. But right there, Dola is already out. And we've got Tricks looking right now at VA off in the distance. That's going to be one kill for him as he jumps off the league. Oof. Mm, man, oh man, that is some Superman next level flying going up over off from the distance. Still 8 teams alive, zone 4 and zone 5 is slowly but surely creeping into this position as the play zone is taking a lot of these players one after the other, forcing chaos out of their position. Right, they are right next to the zone right now, and they've got a team pushing that RTX right beside them. And active gaming is also yet in this game. We've not seen too much of them as they've been playing a low-key game. I believe they are going to be bringing in the Thunder towards the end of the game right now. Chaos still getting the shots into RTX, being able to gather a couple of kills for themselves. You can still all of them still sitting pretty insane, really close to them as Clown and Twix are going to be pushing up to Yossi's position. I'd love to see how they are going to be handling insane in this one. I don't think they've been able to air him that much because you can see them just hovering around his position. No. It's definitely not close by. That's just parallax error, I think.
Yeah,
It's a bit
definitely.
far
It's
off
just
from their
parallax.
position.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bit far off. They as well have got to make their way into that zone. We do see the guys from active gaming, just like you said, getting into that vehicle and just zooming off quite quickly as the guys from UAS trying to make their way into that zone. So definitely ask you about before this game started. The vehicle did come into play, but underrated esports who have pretty much been edging it so far are trying now as well to make their way in. Dylan holding that car 98, trying to get himself a knock or two. With down to 6 teams. Active Gaming is in that zone. The guys from Underrated Esports are trying to make their way in. BC Brocode, one of those teams that we have spoken about in this game,
Nice.
are also trying to make their way in. Octane just jumping into the water, trying to get himself into a good spot. He's moving up to a spot where Vegas is, and it may just change the game or turn the game around as Active Gaming might be facing teams from several different directions. We do see Vegas now noticing, the guys from Brookwood getting into the zone might now begin to um, pop some shots onto them. But active gaming might find themselves fighting fights on different fronts as the guys from underrated esports are trying to make their way in as well. But that knock right there coming in from Revenge, and he's doing the work right there. They have lost one player, they're down to just 3. But man, this now begins to play a really, really, really tough one for them. Hopefully they're able to get that revive, but it doesn't look like it.
Hmm.
Another Nate coming in right there and taking guard down. And Ted Bundy definitely has to get that revive. Vegas can join in on that fight. You can see the third parties trying to come in, and God will definitely be taken out of the game. It is just Ted Bundy who is right there. And we're down to 5 teams. The guys from Underrated know he's alone, and will definitely be looking to seal this one off. All right, so let's see how it goes. It does look like Revenge has been able to get a knock onto Vegas, and his health, just dropping right now. They're able to send him out of the game as well. The guys from Underrated Esports putting in the work right there, right there. We're down to 5 teams, and let's see how this one goes. So the guys from Underrated fought their way all the way into the zone, man. Viper, how do you think this one's gonna play out? They're looking like a team that wants to seal this one.
I do love the fact that underrated esports were able to discern the moments when they needed to make the aggressive play, when they needed to tone it down, when they needed to push up as well. You can see Ted Bundy just hanging by a string right now as the zone is going to be pushing him up into the open spot right now. I think he should have sourcing out chaos from the distance, taking the shot onto him, but unfortunately goes straight into the hand of underrated esports as they were waiting right there. It's going to be 2 teams left up alive right now in zone 7. And RPT do not have that much cover. It's going to be a 1v4 right there, and that is going to be it. As we have the guys from underrated esports finishing in first place with a total of 9 kills. Interesting play from underrated esports, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely do deserve it. Their rotation was absolutely phenomenal. You could see that they did look like they were on the back foot, coming against a team from Active Gaming who were sitting down right there in front of them in the zone with a full team, but they were still able to make their way, rotate in. With Active Gaming being distracted by the guys from Bro Code, they were able to get a couple of knocks. That those nades coming in right there from Revenge were absolutely phenomenal, taking out two players, M4 and God, and able to provide them the opportunity to just move in while Vegas and Ted Bundy were separated, and they went on to finish it off. So GG is lovely game from them.
Yeah, surprising game. So we don't see the first team on the first game up there on the leaderboard. He wasn't there. So what happened today? Please talk us through it. We saw swimmers today. We saw snipers. Everyone went for the kill. Like that Pikachu kill though. What happened?
That was actually my moment in this game. I must say it was Pikachu. They were in a very bad spot. They were cornered all around, and then they were all down. There was just Pikachu left up alive, and it was like, if I'm gonna go down in this place, you guys are coming with me. Took down the first man, the second man that was around the corner, took him down, third man took him
Yeah.
down. The last guy came in, complacent, and it was like, even though I'm not gonna take you down, I'm going to tell my body the play zone to do the job for me. And it was a beautiful gameplay. 1v3, being able to clear the full squad with the help of the play zone. And that was how he got the 3-point kill, at least for his team. And definitely, it's amazing right there to see undirected esports that was in a disadvantaged position, but they played it slow, switched it up real fast just when it mattered. And they were able to clutch that victory just in the nick of time with a 24 total points right there. That is a lot, I must say. So I will be looking towards these guys as well as I don't think IB7 was able to make much out of this particular game, even though I was counting on them to do something, but definitely would love to see what they will be bringing in Miramar.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
what do you think, Fire? What do you think about that?
yeah, I think just as Viper said earlier on today, the leaderboard is still we're still in a position where it's very, very difficult to begin to tell who is going to do well or who is going to win the match because these teams do seem like they're pretty even, right? There's still a lot of teams that we haven't seen a lot from, but we do know that they have the firepower, like Brocode, like Boss, like Undisputed Africa, like God Esports, Eyes on You. So even Norway, came up again like a really tough fight where they were trying to take out the guys from RDX. They were trying to make it all the way into the zone, and then they got third partied by Boss Dollar, who was the last man for his team. So it's really tough for a lot of teams. But going into Miramar now, there's a lot of space. There's a lot of now is where we begin to know who has the strength, who is the real Alagbara, as they say in Nigeria, who's the real king, who's the real champion. There's
Who's the
no,
real guy?
there's yeah, yeah, there's no third party coming in a lot of these fights. So you have the space to fight now, except when it comes to the final zone. So be curious to see how these teams take on each other and begin to show who's the boss.
Yeah, so we can't wait to see what will happen in game three because we have a lot of different games. We have surprises from the second game, like the No Way Out team wasn't on top time. Will they be on top this time? Will the second team be on top? We don't know. It's very surprising today. So we will see. We will see after. On va voir tout à l'heure pour mes amis ivoiriens, for my Ivorian friends. And we'll go to a short break before. So see you after the break. Ciao. And we're back live to Inkosi Super Cup Season 4 for the PUBG Heat, PUBG African Heat. I'm here still with Tony and Viper today to show you the best games. So, welcome back, guys. How do you feel about this third game? How will it go today, Viper? Tell me a little bit
Oh,
more about what do you think? What do you think we will have today on the third game?
yeah, definitely. Seeing as we are entering into Miramar for the third game, I'm expecting to actually, at this point in time, I'm expecting to see which of these teams have these tactical abilities and are able to, pull up, these, dynamic tactics out of their caps just in the nick of time. Because Miramar is the map whereby you are given the chance to actually, use up all those synergy that you guys have been working on all week long. This is the map where you can actually put them all to use, where all these tactics that you worked on is going to actually work out for. So definitely I'm looking to see which of these teams are going to be coming out on top. I got my eyes right now on the rated esports, got my eyes on No Way Out. And I'm also looking to see a bit of, nice play coming in from the boss MOB as well, in as much as my co-caster Fire does seem to like the guy Dola. Yeah, right there. So definitely, I don't know. Tony, do you have anything to say about this next game though?
Yeah, definitely. I do think now the teams have felt themselves. Like I said, in the past game, we're going to see teams just settle down a bit more, with their nerves, a bit settled. Especially the teams that have gotten themselves a couple of points. We had a difference in the teams that were top five in the first game as compared to the second game. So maybe we'll see about 10 teams, just let it loose in this next game, and just go all out without anything to lose. We've been seeing them sort of, the first game they were a bit cautious, and the second game they were going for those fights a bit more, and it'd be curious to see how they begin to face each other, head on without the third parties. And I feel like that a lot of that is going to happen in this Miramar game. So yeah, I want to see teams land on each other. I want to see teams go against each other in Picado. You understand? So yeah, let's see how it goes. And let's see who actually comes on top in the different situations.
That's nice. That's nice. So a little shout out to my Ivorians on the chat today. I don't know if I have a lot of Ivorians today, but on va aller voir l'esprit de Uka Uka, l'esprit de Uka Uka, Uka Uka spirit. Do you know Uka Uka spirit? It's the spirit of esports. It's the African
Nice.
spirit of esports. If you don't know Uka Uka, you don't know esports. It's the king. Okay, so. Um, it's for my French speaking audience. If you don't speak French, I'm sorry. I was just saying that we are going to cast the spirit of Ukauka. It's the spirit of esports in Cote d'Ivoire. I hope
Spirit of
you will
Uka.
help all the teams today to play well, and yeah. So we will see. No Way Out or underrated esports. I don't know who will win. I'm waiting to see the game today. So the third game. So I will leave it to my friends Tony and Viper to go on the third game. So what do you think about Miramar, the map today, Tony? What do you feel will be the good strategy to win this game today?
Definitely is, I mean, we talk about it a lot of times, rotating to the zone quite early, but we cannot overemphasize that in a Miramar game because, while you're trying to just rotate late, there might be teams who are just sitting comfortably around you, ready to blow up your vehicle. We're going to see a lot of blown vehicles here. It's inevitable, while teams are trying to relate. But you don't want, because there's a lot of space, there's a lot more opportunity to have a spot within that zone. So So yeah, teams will struggle to make their way into the center, but PUBG, it will always dribble you around. So it's all about who has the zone at the end of the day, and sometimes it's down to luck. Sometimes it's down to teams just being persistent in pushing and pushing and pushing into us at center.
That's good. Viper, what about you? What's the best strategy to apply in Miramar?
Yeah, it's just pretty, easy, straightforward. Get your team to communicate properly. Make sure each and every member of your team is a scout because in Miramar, it's a large map. You want to get in as much information as you can. So that information is what you are going to be relaying to each member of the team, and most importantly, your in-game leader, that's your high GL, and decisions need to be made around that on the fly. So definitely, if you can get your team communication, your team scouting in proper position, then I believe you would be fine in Miramar. You'll be able to get the right positioning, you'll be able to flank right, you'll be able to get the kills when you need them and survive for as long as possible.
Okay, Tony, any specific gun you will use in Miramar? Do you have any favorite guns for this map?
Well, I don't play anymore, but and I do know that a lot of people would agree with me that if I was playing, I would be potatoing a lot. I'll be missing my shots. But yeah, if we're going to see teams fight, it's a very long range map, so we're going to see people use a lot of DMRs, a lot of sniper rifles. There's still going to be people who can control the sprays with M4 at a distance, so we're going to see a lot of people using that. But yeah, it's mostly a map, for the mini 14s, the SKSs, the SLRs, the DMRs, getting those long distance, taps, and maybe the bolt actions if you're skillful enough to get those headshots and finish off quickly before the team can get the revive as well. So yeah, it'll be mostly those weapons if you're going to play this out well.
Good, good. So we are going to go in game. I will leave it to you. Take us away.
Okay, yes, we are jumping into the dusty ruins of Miramar right now. You can see the flight path coming in down south, heading towards the northern part of El Pozo right there. A lot of these teams are going to be forced to land towards the south line right there. Going a bit towards the eastern part is going to be a bit of a difficulty right there. But we see a lot of these teams already trying to make their way towards that position. We would love to see how this one is going to be turning out for them. Um, Man, Miramar, I must say, back in the days when I used to play Miramar, Miramar was one of those maps which I was not really comfortable with because of the fact that the fights there are usually lengthy, takes a whole lot of time to, get things done. Even there are times when you're trying to flank out an enemy and then you run into yet another person just waiting on the reach. So I'm not too much of a fan of Miramar. I still prefer Erangel. Um, yeah, Tony, I remember when we used to play these maps together back then. It used to be
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fun back then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel like, of course, I agree with you. It's not one of my favorite maps. Dances you around, just like we've seen right now. You see a lot of those players situating around, that not Eastern region. There's like a whole lot of teams right there. It's almost ridiculous. You can see all of them just sandwiching themselves in that particular spot. And a lot of teams now need to rotate into that zone. You can see right there towards that northeast region. The whole zone is just pretty much free, right? Junkyard is free. El Azhar is free. Terry Bronca is free. Cruz del Val is free. There's so much space. Water treatment, Hacienda. There's so much space. Graveyard. La Bendita, Impala. These are regions where you usually see teams, rotating to. But a lot of these guys have all found themselves in the southeast region and just choked themselves there. Not too far away from El Pozo, we also see the guys from Brocode and BBC. I do believe there's another team situated right there with them. So right now, I mean, it choke. It's really choking in a lot of places.
he joke.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, definitely. You can see this landing is a bit it's a bit choked up, as Tony has said, as Actfire has said in this particular map, and we're going to be seeing a lot of early fights. And we're also going to be seeing a lot of these teams trying to move away from each other, as BBC is going to be clutching an early kill right there for their kill points already going up right now. And I don't know, maybe it's probably because this is these teams' first match together. I believe going forward, the next Miramar matches that they will be having will be a little bit more spread out, as literally every single drop spot aside for RDX has a team landing on each other. Every single position is being contested right now. You can see almost every single team is having a player getting knocked out, frags getting the knocked onto Tron right now. And this is definitely not good for most of these players right there, as it is the early gameplay, and you don't want this thing to mess up with how well you're going to be able to survive throughout the rest of the game, how well you'll be able to, circle around teams, create that fortress that would be able to make your team survive for that long. This is a Superman jump coming in from France. And
Yeah,
man, I'm a team.
yeah, it's a really tough one, but I do say this is one of those times where the teams need to now begin to rotate towards several different spots in that zone, like junkyard, like several different places. You know, they've got to actually make their move towards that zone, because you know it's a really really tough one for a lot of these guys. You know, it's a really really tough one, and they've got to make their move right now. They've got to go in to that zone. If not, you know, we might just find several teams just taking themselves quite early and having a really weird, you know, final circle. But we can see the guys from RPT getting into a fight with Team IQ. We did see a lot from them, you know, in the first game, but so far it does look like they're suffering from a little bit of confidence issue. We did see Pikachu put up a really strong fight in that second game, but getting taken out quite early. So they're a team that we're hoping to see a lot more from as the game begins to go on. But RPT right now is just putting in the work onto them. It does look like it's all down to Pikachu again. Will he, you know, they might be depending on him to get that squad right, but that nade coming into Pikachu's region right now. Tron not having any of that. Comes in, does the rotate, and does clean them out. We've got our first full wipe onto a team right here, and it's a really, 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 really tough one.
It's quite sad for Team IQ there. Almost every time I always see, as much as you are going to be getting into a fight, always try to be on the high ground. I usually say that every single time. Always try to be on the high ground. Most times, if you end up on the high ground in a fight, like 30%, 40%, there's a chance that you are going to be winning that fight right there, because you have, better visuals downhill right there. Unfortunately, Pikachu was unable to get that clutch for his team. That is going to be Team IQ out in 14th place right there. RGX already getting into the zone quite early, looking pretty, spread out, getting the loots in, as well as RPT already has that 4 kill points. And no way out, still making their way just away from Valdemar, trying to make their way into the zone. Their rotation is going to be a bit tough, because they are looking to come in from the southwestern part of this zone, and does it look really packed over there? Active Gaming, UES God, UAE, Eyes on You. A lot of teams just sitting in that area right now. Rotating towards that spot might be a bit tricky for any of the teams trying to come in there. But we'll have to see how that one turns out as well. Active Gaming already making their way in deeper into this zone. Man,
Yeah, it's
this,
a really tough one for a lot
yeah.
of teams right there. As you can see, several different teams just holding their spot. We're going to begin to see several teams just rotating into that zone. As you can already see, the guys from RDX already moving towards that center. You can see BBC in a vehicle right there. You can see VAE also in a vehicle. The guys from Active Gaming do look like M4 is trying to just scout around, because a lot of teams, remember, they don't know the position where they're at. They don't know that, you know, there are no teams in those spots, so they would obviously be sending out a couple of teams first of all to do the scouting, and then, you know, move fully with, you know, their whole team. They don't want to take that risk, but we can see the guys from UAE still quite close to the guys from, UAS as well. So, and God is also not too far away from them. Our winners of the first game, who, NW, they're still outside the zone with Chapel. And it'll be curious to see, who gets into the zone, who gets a good spot, who takes, that center within that zone. Broker as well has got to make that rotation. So a lot of these teams are just making out those rotations as we had, predicted, earlier on towards that game. And yeah, it'll be curious to see how this one does pan out. But yeah, we've gotten some of the action that we did expect so far. But I was really, really, truly hoping to see some action coming down from the team unique. But I guess we'll see a lot more from them in coming weeks.
Yeah, definitely would love to see more coming from them in the upcoming weeks right there. And it's quite sad that they were knocked out that early real quickly because I was expecting to see some amazing gameplays for them. But unfortunately, it is what it is. Active Gaming, you can see, have been able to make their way deep center. I do love the fact that most of these teams are not over dwelling on the edge of the zone. You can see they're actually prioritizing,
Ooh.
getting to the center of that zone. Oh, you saw something right now.
Oh, I mean, just taking a look at the zone, you can see right there a lot of those teams just rotating in RDX, Active Gaming, several different guys just rotating into that zone, holding their spot. And this is exactly what you expect for teams who want to, I like the way these guys are rotating. That reminded me of a lot of those teams from the past season. With the way they were rotating and focusing on rotations, and you saw, I mean, if you guys have been watching the Umzansi, when those teams brought in that style of playing to Mzanzi, it really shook a lot of the previous season teams because they weren't used to those bold moves. A lot of times you expect, the toughest of the toughest of the toughest guys trying to get into that center, and everybody else is just trying to edge it, right? But now we're seeing everybody trying to fight for that central spot, trying to fight for that zone. And that's the play that we're seeing from most of those teams. They're just being absolutely brave. And it's lovely to see because that actually does mean more fights. And more fights actually means more shouts for us, more glory for us to watch on the screen, and more for blood for our viewers to see.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Sand and blood, all we are out here for. Yeah. Next one already popping, and you can see it's actually not too bad right there. Still a lot of angles for these teams to actually make their rotations into. No Way Out taking it quite slow. I reckon this is their strat for Miramar. As you can see, they are not rushing anything right there. They're just taking it one hill at a time, trying to scout out the region. I'm actually expecting to see great things from them in this particular match as well because you can see them. They are not rushing themselves at all. They are trying to, in as much as possible, take in the layout of the land, take in the positions of the enemy, and push forward to see if that's going to work for them. And it's actually something that you see a lot of good teams do. I must say, Tony.
Yeah, definitely, it is what it is. One of the teams that I'm hoping to see a lot more from in this particular game is the guys from BC. I've spoken about them in the beginning, of this game. I do believe like sometimes, Viper. I don't know about you, but do you feel like sometimes these teams sort of like have this confidence issue, when they get into some lobbies, they get a bit scared. They don't play their usual games.
Yeah, this most of these things comes with experience and the synergy and how much you trust your team player. So if you have an IGL that knows the capability of his team members and the team have gotten so accustomed to each other and they have that trust going in that if I run into a bad spot, the rest of my teammates are going to be there to give me that cover fire, be there to get me off if I get knocked, get that return knock. Then definitely you will see a lot of confidence play coming in from these players. But if they know, hey, this guy is probably going to be behind the rock somewhere trying to heal up, not giving me that cover fire, even though at the expense of him getting knocked, then yeah, the confidence is definitely going to be a little bit low. So that's why you see some of these teams out here playing with so much confidence and they actually deliver the results because they've been working on themselves together.
Yeah, definitely. Just like you said, working together is definitely one thing that does matter a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So just taking a look at us right now, you can see that it's made a shift right there. A lot of these teams have got to shift. It does look like this Miramar zone has been making them work, has been making them work a lot. And just checking through, the chat on, YouTube, you can see a lot of people are just going wild. They're enjoying, the loving the fights that they're seeing, the loving, getting used to the team. So definitely thanks to everybody that has been watching right there. But just taking a look at this right now, we still got ourselves about 50 people alive. And, heading into that final circle, it is going to be absolutely bloody. Everybody is rushing in for that center position. RDX have already positioned themselves in a good spot. They're looking like a team that's looking to see how they can clutch this one out, looking to see how they can finish this. And RPT getting themselves into a fight of their own against the guys from Chaos. They do look like they're about to take on one of their players right there. If they can take him out, he hasn't got teams or the rest of his players close to him, so that may be changing things out for him. Minato and the rest of his boys need to find a way to support Tricks. But RPT is not looking to make that push yet. He's been able to heal up, and they're just holding the position within that building.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be wise for RPT to make that push because they have the sanctuary. They have that sanctuary. That little compound that they have is doing a lot for them. Because if you do put, if you look at the way Chaos is actually spread out right now, they are spread out right around the guys from RPT. So if they can sniff out RPT leaving this particular building that they have, you definitely would expect the rest of Chaos to occupy that spot, and that could be disastrous for them. But as we can see, a lot of these other teams are going to be making their way. It just seems like No Way Out has finally decided to make their push into the zone, playing it really dangerously close to the guys from Active Gaming. I can see a lot of shots ringing out right now towards them. Smoky Vehicle's got to be careful on that one. You got to get out of this one. That Vehicle's going to blow up. And he's in the wind, trying to make his push up ahead. But unfortunately, VE is going to spot him off from the distance. And we're going to be seeing anybody dropping some smooths for him. Oof, this is going to be a tough one. There you go, just in the nick of time, but unfortunately not able to make it right in the center of everybody. No way out. Does seem like they have no way out of this one, as it's going to be just Chapo and Tempest carrying the torch right now for them, bro.
Definitely,
Yeah.
just getting into that spot right there. You did see the guys from Active Gaming just taking them out, taking out a couple of their players. No way out, having a really tough time. And this is what we talked about, in Miramar. It's always, it's that kind of map where you do see several different teams like, UAE right there, just holding positions, whether it's on that mountain, whether it's on the side, because there's a lot of mountains, there's a lot of where teams are on a high ground and they can see you and begin to take you out while you're trying to drive those vehicles in. So we see a lot of teams just hanging on outside that zone now, needing to make their way in, needing to get those rotations on. But the third parties from every different corner, is going to make it really difficult. The guys from BC looking to make their move into a deeper region within that zone. UAE has also got to make their way into the zone as well. Third parties may make it absolutely difficult for them, but we do see the guys from Chaos and Active Gaming just sending out some friendly fire because both of them are in really safe positions. And we also do see the guys from EOU, if I'm correct.
Yeah, eyes
EOU
on
is
you.
eyes on you as well. Might be looking to get into a fight right there with the guys from RDX. They're pretty much aggressive neighbors right now. They have occupied a building right next to RDX, and
Mhm.
RDX also getting a third party from Apollo knock right there. And well, for some teams, that will be an opportunity for eyes on you to push, but they're still holding the position, which is very good for them. And we'll see how this one plays out towards the end.
Man, Apollo is dealing some shots in with that Kanete. That man is a marksman. From that distance, he is just raining in the 7.62s, just throwing the stones in towards the guy from RDX right now. Has been able to knock two players consistently, even though the revives will be getting, in place right there. But man, you don't want to cross that Apollo man right there. It's crazy. When I see players, there are two things that I fear in this game. It's grenades and bolt action snipers. Those two, they are devastating because It's just one shot. He needs just one shot.
I'm telling you. And
He,
sometimes they actually just need a body shot, especially if you've been really damaged from third parties. He may
mm-hmm.
just hit a body shot and take you down, and you're running all the way into the zone. I've seen a lot of people, guys, especially coming on from last season, the Consi and the Mzansi, just get those shots. And as you can see, we're seeing Dylan as well, putting in some damage right there with the Mini 14 and getting a couple of knocks right there. UAS, in a fight of their own. Insane is the last hopeful for his team. It does look like the guys from UAE are going at him, but he does bring out that M249 that's got a whole lot of weapons right there and tries to get a knock, but he does switch up position as the guys from UAE have spotted him. Ace and Madara and the rest of their team, also with King making that push. They're not providing him that support, but the distance support might as well just be enough. It is a 1v1 at this position, although King has got the support from a flank position. But Insane is down to pretty much what is 35% HP, and King is able to just seal that one off. So we're down to 12 teams left.
Wow. That was some cat and mouse fight coming up from King right there. He was just waiting for the perfect moment to creep up onto his position, and he found it, got the shots and he was able to get him down. Eyes on a couple of players off on the distance. See a couple of players to the northwestern part right there bleeding off, as there is a sandwich going on onto RGX right now by eyes on you as well as UAE. They have them dead center right now. It's going to be a tough one for RGX to make their rotations out of there. Active gaming down south, just sitting pretty in the zone, looking towards the guys from BH saying, how you guys are going to make your way into the zone. I would love to see that one. So definitely, but RGX is going to be taking their time right now, as they know they've got a team behind them and a team right in front of them. As God is also GDX, I believe, is also off in the distance, just looking towards their direction, saying, okay, if we can get a couple of kills from this fight, well, I would love to take it as well. So it's all guns and battles in every direction, as we can see a mini red zone going on right there onto the guys from RDX. Active gaming also finding a couple of shots into RPT. It's getting to the final zones, and we are getting to see that crazy battle as usual, bro. It's it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see this amount of teams, holding their spots within that zone. But definitely, what you expect to see from a lot of top lobbies are teams, just finding ways to survive, finding ways to hold their own, as much as getting the kills. As you can see, shots are just flying wide, left, right, center. God is down to a two-man squad. RPT is trying to make that rotate. So are pretty much bleeding. You also see the guys from Brocode as well. Octane trying to go in for that revive, but it does look like Stone has already gotten taken out as well. But the guys from God are down to a two-man squad. Chaos is as well not too far away from them. We got the guys from BC as well, popping up shots onto the guys from God. Several different teams are just hanging around that zone right there. We're down to 10 teams. We've still got a whole load of teams just sitting down. Our first game winners are down to just Tempest. He's got to get the heel on, but from a distance, he gets taken out by the guys from Chaos. Chaos going wild, living up to the name so far and taking out the winners of the first game. Oh, my goodness.
Not to jinx these guys or anything, but we Chaos have actually been performing quite well. They've been able to, at least in almost all the games, they've been able to bring into the final circle, up to the final circle, majority of their players every single time. And I believe if they continue like this, they are going to end up. I think probably they are even in top three right now. They were probably going to end up in the top three spots in this particular week right there, because some headshots connection right there from Odin. Odin showing them why he has that name, but King finding that out. They forgot about him.
Ooh.
Oof,
Definitely the guys from
King.
BC putting in the work right here. But man, going out in ninth place does not tell the entire story of this game, as teams have fought their way into their zone. They have tried, they have fought, they have held on. But as you
You know,
can
it's
see, It no easy at all. It no easy. Everybody is bleeding. Eyes on you. One of the players does get taken out right there. God is still there. BBC is still trying as much as possible to hang on. You also see the guys on Active Gaming just trying to hold that edge. They got to move in. The guys from Chaos still hanging on with a full team as well. It is a really difficult time. All of a sudden, we're down to about 6 teams, and several different teams are just trying as much as possible to hang on right here on this one. The guys from BBC just moving on to the position where eyes on you is, and they are now laying their eyes on them as they are looking to see what they can do in taking them out. But curious to see, the guys from UAE are still in this game with a full squad. They're in the zone. They're pretty much edging it at this particular point in time. We do see the guys from Chaos as well. I do believe they've gotten taken out by the guys from Active Gaming, and Active Gaming do have sort of like a spot within that zone as well. It'll be a very interesting one to see how they do finish up this game. But we're down to 4 squads. It is UAE, it is Eyes on You, it is Active Gaming, and I'm not sure who exactly is the last team, but I do believe that is BBC as well. So it's a very interesting one to see how this game does finally wrap up.
Oof, oof, oof. So BBC, UAE, Active Gaming in their respective corners. As you can see, BBC in the brown corner, Active Gaming in the yellow, and UAE in the purple corner. All flinging shots at each other right now, hoping to get that winner chicken dinner. You see UAE with a total team kill of 7 right now, looking to get some more. They still can get some more. Active Gaming with a total of 10, also looking to get more as Vegas goes down real. Please God, be careful on that angle. Your legs are quite exposed. You need to be careful on that one. So definitely you can see each one of them on different side of the map. BBC already trying to get down center, trying to control that center point. There is a little shed there that they can use. So definitely they've sent one man forward, left one man behind. Same tactics coming out from there from Active Gaming as well. You just shot flipping out from BBC Fair, but unfortunately could not score, connect those shots quite enough as the other teammates are going to get the shot into his position. And you fight him with that. Ooh, you gotta be. I don't know. You have to be connecting this kind of shots. You can't be wasting those shots. I must say. So yeah,
Man,
yeah,
it's a
yeah, man.
Man, it's a really tough one for everybody as this game is currently looking like a UAE game. They've got the zone, they've got a full squad, they're sitting right there, they've got the numbers, and it would be curious to see how the guys from Active Gaming, play this one, how they do get into the zone. They've got the covers, they've got everything, and it's all
Mm,
down to decision making right now. Popping out them smokes
mm,
right there. You can see Ted Bundy just popping out that smokes, providing himself some cover and trying to make his way in. He does get one
mm.
knock right there onto the guys from UAE, but they're able to retaliate and pop up some fire. Will God be able to get that revive onto Ted Bundy from Active
Ooh.
Gaming? But a nade coming in does take out another player right there, and definitely will give the guys from Active Gaming an opportunity to see if they can push up onto this one. It's a really tough one. Moz is coming in with a third party right there, trying to put in the work onto the team. But one of the res has gone up right there. But the guys from Active Gaming are still trying as much as possible to put in the work onto the team from UA. And this Moz might be the deciding factor for this team because he's in a position, a flank position, where if the guys from UA do decide to make that push, he can actually make that move right there onto the team. So how's he gonna play it? Is he gonna make that move? I've seen situations, last week we saw in the Umzansi where one of the players from 4K Effects just came in right there and won that. But right there, the guys from Active Gaming getting taken out by UAE. They're living up to the name. Moz right here can now finally look to get into the action on his own. His team has gotten about 9 kills. In second place might seem okay for him, but he's going in for more kills right there as he does get 10
Nice,
kills to his name. But the guys from
nice.
UAE clap of that game. King get himself 10 kills and 12 kills total for UAE. And that was a really, really, really interesting game. On the other hand, you do have the guys from BBC finishing that one with 10 kills, and also Active Gaming finishing with 11 kills in third place.
Wow. That was an hectic gameplay coming in from UAE. It did seem a little bit shaky at first, especially when active gaming crept up right behind them. I was thinking this could actually go in the direction for active gaming winning this, but well, luckily enough for them, they were able to fight that one off to clutch that victory and take the winner with a chicken dinner.
Yeah, today there was so much snipers. Like you say in Nigeria, Wahala Day, Wahala Day. The problems were all over the map. We started with
Pew
snipers,
pew.
then we went with the vehicles, and then we ended up so with the snipers. It was very, very, very intense. But as we saw, there was
Mhm.
no way out for no way out today. It was really
Fortunately.
difficult. The players all had to put themselves in positions really early to get some kills. What do you think about that, Tony?
Yeah, like I said, it's a map that is really difficult. You gotta show your prowess as a team to fight on and keep pushing in a map like this. And that's exactly what this top three teams did right there. As you can see, they're pretty much close when it comes to points that they have gathered from this particular game. So yeah, you gotta make your way into the zone early. Sometimes it's all down to luck. As you can see, in that final zone, it just shifted towards the guys from UA instead of BBC or Active Gaming. And if it had moved towards the guys from Active Gaming or BBC, it might have been another game entirely, or we might have seen UA fight their way into winning the game. So at the end of the day, it's all down to one simple thing. It's all down to who makes use of the opportunities they get. Sometimes you're in a difficult spot and you still find a way to clutch it at the end of the day.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Viper? What we saw, like as I was saying, No Way Out was the first one on the first game, and then it went a little bit downhill. So, do you know what they have to change in their game to be better, maybe next week if they come back next week?
Yeah, definitely. It does show that they have some beautiful gameplay for them to be able to actually win one of these maps. But what is needed in this particular game to continually be on top is that consistency. So whatever they did in the one that worked for them, they need to go sit on the drawing table, look at what they did wrong, where they went wrong. Maybe they were too aggressive. Maybe they need to tone it a little bit down, change drop spots. Try and observe what the enemy is doing before they get into fight. Try as much as possible to scout ahead to make sure they are not stuck in positions where they shouldn't be. So all these things they need to work on together and see if they would be able to actually give a better performance in the coming weeks. You still have about 7 more weeks to you know get it right. So definitely love to see how they are going to be coming with the
Yeah, yeah.
gameplay in
So
coming weeks.
So we're going to see the leaderboard for week one. So underrated
Ooh.
esports, PVC, and active gaming are on top with chaos and no way out on fourth and fifth place. So Fire, what do you think about that?
Just taking a look at the total points all the way from first to sixth position, you can see that they're just separated by 8 points, 8 points all the way. So that just shows that the lobby is really balanced. Just take a look at first, second, and third being separated by just 1 point. In fact, BBC and Active Gaming are both sitting on 39 points. So it's a really tough one. It's a really really tough lobby, and I'll be curious to see how they continue to do in weeks that follow.
So the team you were behind went in second place, and then what do you think about this week one leaderboard, Viper? What can you say about
Um,
it?
Yeah, I can see that even on the second page, we have teams like Boss Mob having 10 kills. I must say that is something that is quite impressive, which means they have the potential to get these skills. What they lack right now is the survival skills, which they need to work on. The last three guys on the bottom part of this leaderboard, God Esports, Black Hawk Esports, and Circle, I believe they would. check their gameplay, try to see what they've done wrong. At least they've been able to come this far, and being able to come this far just means that you have what it takes to deliver. So definitely would love to see how these teams are going to be performing in the coming weeks. But we have to keep at the back of our mind that there are other teams out there as well looking to get to this stage, and we will not be giving them the chance like, oh, you guys had your chance in week one. This week it's for us, it's us. So definitely would love to see how these dynamics are going to be changing along as we go along in the Inkosi Super Cup season 4.
So how do you feel about all the teams games today? Who do you think will next week, maybe if they come back? Who do you think will how do I say, will come up first on the several other games? Like Viper, can you tell me?
To be honest, I would still say it's really, really difficult to predict these things because week after week, it's the games are going to change in lot, I must say. But one of the very few teams that I'm looking forward to see in the coming weeks is going to be No Way Out, BBC, definitely UAE and Active Gaming. Those four teams, I'm actually looking forward to see them coming back into Inkosi Super Cup week after week to see if they would get a chance, to get to that promotion relegation into Umzansi League. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's your own
yeah,
league. Yeah.
yeah. It's really important. So what do you think, Fire?
Yeah, like he said, it is difficult to tell, but we will see. I'm hoping to see a lot more teams, like even Bro Code, No Way Out, who's shown that they're here to stay. UAE, they came in late, with that final winner chicken dinner, but hopefully we can see more from them next week. There are a whole lot of teams, even active gaming. So I mean. I guess we'll see more from them. Now they understand themselves because there's a lot of new teams, that have been formed, but it was a great gameplay all around. So now that they understand themselves, they will go back, they will watch the games, they will see everyone's landing spots because now Mirama was chaos. It was chaos the way they all
Yep.
landed, the way they all dropped. But hopefully they will go back, they will watch, they will learn, they will decide where each and every one of them would land and make changes to it.
So I lost I lost connection for a while, but um, it's okay because we are about to close the show for today. So I would like to thank all of the viewers today. Je voudrais dire merci aussi from French speaking. If you are here, thank you. We are here too. West Africa is here in Inkosi. So I would like to thank everybody, and we will say goodbye to you. And next week, don't forget to tune in to Nordway Gaming Facebook and the YouTube channel for week 2 of the Inkosi Super Cup. I was happy, and I was with Tony and Viper for the first week of Inkosi Super Cup. See you next week. Bye.
Happy to have you. Yeah.